It's medieval times and you've somehow survived to adulthood, so you've decided to take some time off from the job that you've had since you were like 10 to go to war. I'm sure you will gather much fame and plunder, get recognised, get knighted, get rich, and all will be well. But if it's not, here's the 10 ways you'll die on the medieval battlefield, and watch to the end for a bonus entry. Ever wondered how you'd survive in the Middle Ages? Let's find out. The opposing armies gather, and across the battlefield you espy your enemy. That peasant with the flail, he looks like an easy target. Soon his life will be yours. Soon you and your comrades will charge across the no man's land that separates you from certain success and glory. Soon you will— oh no, you've been shot by an arrow. Which brings us to our first entry, shot by arrow or crossbow bolt. Archers played a significant role in medieval warfare, and arrow wounds were common, causing serious and deadly injuries. You'll join the famous ranks of King Henry V, who as a young man was shot in the face by an arrow at the Battle of Shrewsbury, an arrow which penetrated 6 inches deep, and he fought on for like half an hour before coming off the field. So what's your excuse? Number 2, battlefield surgery. You'll need a battlefield surgeon if you can afford one and get over there quick enough, and that's if they agree to treat you, because if they think the treatment will likely fail, then they may well refuse to even try, lest your death sully their good record so far. If that arrow is deep in, they'll push the arrow all the way through, popping it out to the other side, breaking off the arrowhead and thusly leaving the shaft to be pulled out. And if you think that's bad, don't even get me started on trepanning. The wound can then be cauterized and dressed with honey, a natural antibiotic. Anesthetic? Don't worry about it. Your comrades will hold you down, and I guess you could pray or something? If you're rich, you might get some opium and mandrake root to dull the pain. Maybe. But hurrah, soon the surgery is over and you feel okay, I guess. Maybe you could even get back to the glorious battlefield. Bouncing back from injury, you feel a renewed sense of confidence. Amongst the throng surrounded by your comrades, you are invincible. You are ready for anything. Oh good lord, who is this guy in 1,000 pounds of warhorse charging directly at you? It's number 3, the cavalry charge. Heavy cavalry charges could cause massive casualties, especially against less organised and less armoured infantry. Soldiers could be killed by the force of impact, trampled under heavy hooves, or skewered by the pointy end of a lance. Why do you think knights were jousting all the time? It was practice for these very charges. So I guess you could run away. Just a little bit. You'll totally come back later. Except you won't, because you've been number 4, crushed by your own comrades. In tightly packed formations, soldiers could be trampled and crushed during the chaos of battle, especially during routs and retreats. For example, at the famously bloody Battle of Taunton in 1461, the Yorkists at one point routed their Lancastrian foes, and many were trampled by their own side in a panic-stricken rout. Or perhaps they, and here comes number 5, died by drowning. At the Battle of Taunton, so many were said to have drowned during this route, and generally died all over the place, that the river was said to have run red with blood for days. Battlefield environmental conditions could be hazardous, with soldiers drowning in rivers and bogs. Do you know what was popular in the Middle Ages? Woolen clothes, and wool can absorb a lot of water, making it, unfortunately, rather easy to drown in. Remember King Louis II of Hungary from the Worst Kings video, link in the description. He fell backwards from his horse whilst retreating and drowned in a stream under the weight of his heavy armour. But let's say the 2 battle lines do get to meet. Time to crush your enemy. That's if they don't crush you first, and I mean literally, with a big hammer. Number 6, blunt force trauma. Soldiers often face death from blunt force trauma caused by maces, hammers and clubs. These weapons were designed to crush bones and cause internal injuries which could easily be fatal. On the medieval battlefield, amputation was only used as a very last resort, because it often resulted in death. Severe injuries often led to shock, and without the means to control bleeding, many soldiers died from bleeding out on the battlefield. And talking of bleeding out on the battlefield, number 7, sharp force trauma. This includes injuries caused by swords, spears, halberds, axes, and anything a bit sharp really. These weapons could cause deep cuts, puncture wounds and severed limbs, leading to rapid blood loss and death. But maybe you would survive being slashed with a sword. Many soldiers did, albeit horribly scarred. Well then, maybe you'd be number 8, squashed by an elephant. Yes, how could I leave this classic out? It might seem unlikely that you'd get squished by an elephant on the battlefield, but you'd be wrong. Oh my, look, another video that I made about worst kings that you should totally go and watch after this one. Link in the description. There we talk about the notorious Timur, who, faced with the war elephants of Delhi, set his own camels on fire and sent them running towards the enemy elephants, who understandably panicked and fled, crushing their own lines. Anyway, those deaths are for plebs, and you're a knight. A knight with a shield and a horse. Number 9, Equine Error. You thought you were safe because you're rich, so you have a full set of armour and a big pony. But as the Dance Macabre keeps trying to tell you, death comes to all, rich and poor. Now you've fallen off your horse and broken your neck. Whoops! There are different accounts of the death of William I of England, aka William the Conqueror, but one of them is that he fell so heavily upon the pommel of his saddle that it caused internal injuries so severe that he died. This is why I fear the horse. But let's say you were graced by God to survive, to live through the battle. You've done it. You've lived through this entire nightmare with nary a scratch on you. Well, except for this one little scratch, but that's nothing to worry about. Nope, you've died of an infected wound. Number 10, infection. Without antibiotics, even a small cut could become infected and kill you. Did you think anyone was washing their hands? Sanitation wasn't such a big deal in the Middle Ages. Here's another lovely bedtime story. Sigurd Eysteinsson, aka Sigurd the Mighty, was Vikinging all over Scotland, accompanied by the severed head of his enemy defeated in battle, attached to his saddle as a trophy. A tooth on this skull grazed Sigurd's leg, causing an infection, inflammation and sepsis, which led to his death. I feel like there's a lesson in there somewhere. And as a bonus entry, dysentery, killing kings and plebs alike throughout the Middle Ages, also known as the Bloody Flux for reasons that are totally gross. Who's your favourite historical figure who died from dysentery? There's plenty to choose from, and if you did somehow survive the battle and make it to 21 years old, you might well expect to live into your 60s, as long as we're not talking about the 14th century, when the bubonic plague greatly lowered life expectancy, or if you were a woman, as you'd have a much higher chance of dying through the complications of childbirth. Hope you enjoyed this light-hearted look at death. If you did, create an enduring legacy by giving the video a thumbs up and subscribing before it's too late.